Arsenal may have difficult conversations over Arteta's future. David Ornstein. Mikel Arteta has been told he has a lot riding on Arsenal's results in the coming weeks when it comes to his new contract at the club. Arteta has been in discussions with Arsenal over a new deal, but David Ornstein has revealed that this new agreement is likely to be decisively shaped by what the Gunners can produce on the field. For so long this term, the North London side looked capable of sweeping to a quadruple, yet they have seen the FA Cup and Carabao Cup escape them, while a healthy lead in the Premier League could soon vanish, as they lose a crunch weekend fixture against Manchester City. Meanwhile, Atletico Madrid lie in wait in the Champions League semi-finals. Ornstein on Arteta's Arsenal future. If the two major trophies escape the Emirates side, this will naturally lead to questions over the mental strength that Arteta is instilling in his squad, with the Spaniard having only won the 2020 FA Cup since arriving at the club. Ornstein says this would make any renewal discussions awkward. Asked in AQ&A for The Athletic, as there's a scenario in which Arsenal might have a new manager next season, he replied, "I'm sure Arsenal want Arteta to continue into next season and beyond. He's contracted until June 2027 at present, while it sounds from Arteta's own words as though he wants the same. If things go badly for them between now and the summer, I'm sure there will be some very difficult conversations, and it would be naive of me to say I can't see a world in which he departs. Nothing surprises you in football, and for various reasons, I would say that about pretty much every Premier League club at the moment. So, the intention is clear, but obviously there is a lot riding on the weeks ahead." Respected reporter David Ornstein has provided an update on Mikel Arteta's future at Arsenal. He looks to end their long trophy drought. Arteta is one of the longest-serving managers in the Football League, but he is under pressure to deliver silverware for Arsenal this season. For a while, the 2025-26 campaign set to be a special season for Arsenal, though they have crumbled in recent weeks. Having failed in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, Arsenal's quadruple hopes are over, but they remain in contention for the Premier League and Champions League. Arsenal face Atletico Madrid in the Champions League semi-finals, while they are 6 points clear of Man City in the Premier League table. However, the league title is in the hands of their rivals, who have a game in hand ahead of Sunday's potentially decisive clash between the two teams at the Etihad. Arteta has rarely been under this much pressure at Arsenal, and Ornstein suspects he may be out of a job if his side fail to win the Premier League and/or Champions League this season. "I'm sure Arsenal want Arteta to continue into next season and beyond. He's contracted until June 2027 at present, while it sounds from Arteta's own words as though he wants the same," Ornstein said in Q&A for The Athletic. "If things go badly for them between now and the summer, I'm sure there will be some very difficult conversations, and it would be naive of me to say I can't see a world in which he departs. Nothing surprises you in football, and for various reasons, I would say that about pretty much every Premier League club at the moment. So, the intention is clear, but obviously there is a lot riding on the weeks ahead." And while previewing Sunday's game between Arsenal and Man City, Liverpool legend Jamie Carragher has warned Arteta that he faces serious implications if he does not win a trophy this season. An Arsenal win at the Etihad will allow them to ease over the finishing line. A draw means they can crawl across. Lose, and the momentum shift will be such that it would be a shock if Pep Guardiola is not wearing the crown again in May, Carragher wrote for The Telegraph. The stakes are high for both clubs and managers, but there is an inescapable sense that the pressure is even greater on the league leaders. From Mikel Arteta, the implications of falling short will be more serious. The validity of his approach hinges entirely on whether he is a Premier League or European champion over the next 2 months. A triumph will render all criticism up to this point of his reign irrelevant and meaningless. Fall short, and the recovery period will be one of rancor and recrimination. The Gunners remain in a great position to win at least one major title this season. However, there are signs of the team starting to falter. Arsenal are in the Champions League semi-finals, but face a tough test against Atletico Madrid. Meanwhile, they travel away to Man City at the weekend. Having been so tough to watch at times this season, ending the season trophyless once again would be heartbreaking and would make a contract renewal very tricky. Mikel Arteta's new Arsenal contract could be complicated by fan sentiment. Mikel Arteta's new contract at Arsenal could be complicated by fan sentiment, according to James Bench. Arsenal plan to offer Arteta a new contract at the end of the season, having postponed talks to do so immediately, with the focus on finishing the season strong. However, if the Gunners failed to win a trophy this season, following talk of a quadruple, then fans could quickly start to turn on the manager. Speaking about the situation, Bench told Give Me Sport, "It's a complicated one. So they have had those conversations, and the expectation is that they would resume in the summer, but you have to factor in the fan mood and the fan noise. I don't really know what it would be if Arsenal don't win another trophy, but my suspicion is it would harden against the idea of giving him an extension. He's currently one of the best paid managers in the world, and he would find it difficult to convince supporters. It's always hard to know what it would be like in the ground. I don't really know to what extent the ownership, who haven't quite been in this position as permanent owners of the club, Arsène Wenger, you almost have to treat it as a different case. I don't know how they would manage that situation. They would like him to stay, and I don't think Mikel Arteta would walk either." Arteta has just become the first Arsenal manager to reach back-to-back Champions League semi-finals, but there is still a lot of worrying about their season. City are chasing them down in the Premier League and in the Champions League. Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, or PSG are standing in their way. Failure to win either the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup has now ramped up the pressure on the Spaniard to deliver one of the big two titles. Just like Ian Wright, Arsenal fans do not enjoy watching the team's style of play, which adds further pressure on Arteta to deliver playing the way he is. Declan Rice demanded Arsenal must improve for Sunday's Premier League title-defining match at Manchester City, as he vowed to eradicate the hurt of their Carabao Cup final defeat. Arsenal and City will lock horns in a mammoth top-of-the-table clash at the Etihad Stadium this weekend, with Mikel Arteta's side guarding a 6-point lead over their rivals. However, City, fresh from an impressive 3-0 win at Chelsea, have a game in hand over an Arsenal side which recently slumped to a poor defeat against Bournemouth.